I was driving across the state for a family emergency and needed to stop for the night. I was exhausted, and the nearest town only had one motel open, an old roadside place with a flickering neon sign and a cracked parking lot. It was late, around 11:30 p.m, and I just needed a bed. The woman at the front desk didn't say much. She looked half asleep when I walked in. She handed me a key card and mumbled, "Room 211, upstairs to the left." The hallway was dimly lit and smelled faintly like cigarettes and cleaning supplies. I got to the room, locked the door behind me and tossed my bag on the bed. The place was nothing special. One lamp, an old TV, a stained desk chair, but it was quiet, and that's all I wanted. After a quick shower, I turned off the lights and lay down. Just as I started drifting off, I heard a noise from the hallway. It wasn't loud, just slow, deliberate footsteps, pacing back and forth in front of my door. I stayed still, listened. The steps would stop, then start again, stop, then a soft knock. Not on my door, on the one next to mine, room 209. After about a minute, I heard a voice, low, male, calm. I couldn't make out the words, but it sounded like he was talking directly to whoever was inside 209. I figured it was a late-night visitor or a drunk guest. I ignored it and eventually fell asleep. At 3:17 a.m, I woke up to a sound that made my stomach drop. The handle on my door was moving, not shaking, not forced, just a slow turn, like someone was checking if it was unlocked. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. The knob stopped. A pause. Then footsteps, slow and soft, moving away down the hall. I waited a few minutes before I got up and checked the peephole. No one was there. I double-checked the lock and tried to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. Around 6:30 a.m, I went down to check out. The woman from the night before was gone. An older guy was behind the counter, looked more alert. As I handed him the key card, I casually asked, "Hey, is someone staying in room 209? He looked at his computer. "Nope, that one's empty. Hasn't been rented out all week." I told him what I heard. Someone knocking. Someone talking outside that door around midnight. He frowned, then leaned in a bit. "You're not the first person to mention that room," he said. "Few months ago, some guy reported someone knocking and whispering outside his door too. Room 209. We checked the cameras. Didn't see anyone." He paused, then added, "We've had issues with someone sneaking into the building. Usually enters through the back stairwell, but we never catch him." I asked if the police had been called. He nodded. "A couple times. By the time they arrive, the guy's gone. Leaves nothing behind." I didn't know what to say. He just shrugged and said, "Always lock your door, man." I left that motel and didn't stop driving until I crossed 2 counties. I still don't know who was outside my room, and every time I stay somewhere new, I check the handle twice. Last year, I was driving down to Texas for a job interview, took a wrong exit late at night, and ended up way off schedule. My GPS rerouted me through some back roads, and by the time I hit anything resembling civilization, it was almost 1 a.m. There was only one place open, a small roadside motel with 7 rooms and a busted vending machine out front. I didn't care about stars or reviews at that point. I just needed sleep. The guy at the front desk was an older man in a trucker cap. He handed me a key and said, "You'll be in room 4. Try not to park too close to the unit next to you. That one's being worked on." I nodded, too tired to ask questions. Parked my car, grabbed my bag, and walked toward room 4. As I passed the unit next to mine, I noticed it didn't have a number on the door, just a blank metal plate screwed where the number should be. The window was covered with newspaper from the inside. Looked like it hadn't been used in years. Inside my room, everything felt fine at first. Dated furniture, stained lampshade, a bed that creaked when I sat on it, but nothing alarming. I set an alarm for 7 a.m, locked the door, and lay down. Around 2:40 a.m, I was woken by a sound. Knocking, not loud, more like a steady tapping. At first, I thought it was at my door, but when I sat up and listened, I realised it was coming from the wall. The wall I shared with the room next door. Room with no number. I got up and pressed my ear to the wall. The knocking stopped. Then a voice, low and raspy. "Do you hear me?" I stumbled back from the wall. It wasn't a shout. It was like the person was right on the other side, whispering through the drywall. I didn't respond. I just stood there, frozen. 30 seconds later, another whisper. "I know you're in there." I grabbed my keys and wallet, planning to just leave. As I opened the door, I noticed something on the doorknob. A wire, thin and silver, fishing line maybe, wrapped tight and looped around both my handle and the one next door. I hadn't seen it earlier. It was pulled so tight, I would have snapped it just by opening my door fast. I slowly removed it and backed away. I didn't want to go back through the front office. I didn't want to explain anything. I got in my car and left. No checkout, no refund, no confrontation. The next day, I called the motel from the road and told the guy at the desk what happened. He went quiet for a second, then said, "That room's supposed to stay locked. Always." I asked why. He said, "Couple years ago, a guest broke in and started living in there. No ID, no credit card, nothing. Just stayed. We kicked him out after other guests complained about voices through the wall. But he kept coming back. Sneaks in through the laundry room when we're not looking. We've been trying to keep it shut for good." I asked, "Do you check it regularly?" He said, "Yeah, every few weeks. Last time was 3 days ago. We padlocked it again." I told him what I saw, about the wire, the voice, the knocking. He just said, "Then I guess he's back."